What is up, everybody? We had the first Friday Night Smackdown since last weekend's Royal Rumble. So in this video, we're going to take a look at some of the major events that happened on this week's show. We're going to see how some of these things may affect future storylines, how some characters may be shifting, where WWE might be going in terms of stories for WrestleMania, and just in general, taking a look at how some of these stories are starting to build as we head towards WrestleMania. So let's get into it. I'm assuming you're a fan of wrestling because you're already here. You should hit that subscribe button, come check me out. I try to post as much as I can on this channel, sometimes every day, and things are about to get really exciting in wrestling. So come check out some of this content. I guarantee you're going to find something you like. Hit that subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Now let's talk wrestling. Look, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. Tonight's episode of SmackDown was not great. I don't know. I guess I just expected more fallout after this week's Royal Rumble. We did have that whole thing with Drew McIntyre trying to cut a promo 3 times, by the way. He got interrupted by Cody Rhodes, got beat up by Cody Rhodes. The whole thing about Cody Rhodes talking about a penis measuring contest and then saying they don't call me Raheem for nothing. I think that's what he says. He said my nickname isn't Raheem for nothing. Okay, all right, Cody Rhodes. Okay, all right, dude. And then Drew McIntyre tried to come out to cut another promo. He then got jumped by Jacob Fatu. Both of these dudes were kicked out of the building, and by Nick Aldis. Nick Aldis was like, if you want a shot at Drew, you're just going to have to qualify for the chamber. Drew McIntyre did end up cutting his promo, and it was just to say that Roman Reigns challenged CM Punk because he's scared of Drew McIntyre, even though they both know that the Undisputed Championship is the only championship that matters. He's not wrong, by the way. Roman Reigns said as much while he was Undisputed Champion. He said they created the World Heavyweight Championship as a second place belt. If anyone buried that title, it was Roman Reigns. So Drew McIntyre said nothing different than what Roman Reigns said while he was Undisputed Champion. I'm just saying. So the whole thing about this that I am confused by is next week we're going to get a qualifying match for the chamber between Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn. That means only one of these 3 guys can qualify to the chamber. That just feels like a missed opportunity for WWE. I feel like we're going to get Jacob Fatu pull out a win here somehow, and he's going to qualify for the chamber. I do feel like we're going to get a triple threat match between Drew McIntyre, Cody Rhodes, and Jacob Fatu at WrestleMania. I think that, I've said it before, I feel like this is where Cody Rhodes' character shift is coming, right? Like Jacob Fatu is going to win the chamber. He's going to challenge Drew McIntyre, and Cody Rhodes is going to politic his way into that match. Kind of something that he wouldn't do before as a babyface, as an uber babyface. So we're kind of going to see maybe different shades of Cody Rhodes' character, right? Maybe a little bit more of heel tactics by Cody Rhodes. I do feel like that's where WWE is going. Like, we're not going to get a total heel shift by Cody Rhodes like all at once right away, but I do feel like we're going to get little steps in that direction. So I kind of do like the way that they're going with that. I just feel like having a triple threat match between these guys for a qualifying match at the chamber just feels like a missed opportunity by WWE. I feel like you could have all 3 of these guys at the chamber at once and no one would bat an eye. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week. We had Tiffanny Stratton qualify for a chamber match herself. She had a match against Chelsea Green and Lash Legend. She won that triple threat match. We're also going to have a title match between Jordynne Grace and Jade Cargill next week on SmackDown. Do they take the title away from Jade Cargill? I don't know. I feel like the right match for WrestleMania is going, or I felt like the right match for WrestleMania was a Bianca Belair against Jade Cargill. I don't think we're going to get that, especially because we're going to have qualifiers for the Elimination Chamber, and having Bianca Belair come back for a qualifier match just feels weird to me. Like, would WWE do that? I guess they would, but something tells me that Jordynne Grace is gonna win this title. I do feel like Jordynne Grace is gonna beat Jade Cargill next week. Maybe that's how we get Bianca Belair returned, right? Maybe Bianca Belair returns, she costs Jade Cargill the title. We get a Bianca versus Jade at WrestleMania for no title, and then Jordynne Grace versus Tiffanny Stratton maybe at WrestleMania. I don't know. This whole women's title scene on SmackDown has really thrown me for a loop lately. I feel like the amount of injuries are what caused WWE to just throw any plans that they had in the air. Not that they had great plans to begin with, probably. We've all seen Unreal. We all see how these people just don't know what they're doing half the time. But I don't know. If I had to put money down on anything right now, it would be that Jordynne Grace beats Jade Cargill next week for the title. Maybe Bianca Belair comes back to cost her that match, and then we get Jade versus Bianca at WrestleMania for no title, and then we get Jordynne Grace versus I am gonna say Tiffanny Stratton for that title at WrestleMania. Maybe Raquel Rodriguez. That'd be cool because Liv Morgan also was on this show. Liv Morgan came out to basically say she wasn't sure who she was going to challenge at WrestleMania. She did say it would be easy for me to challenge Stephanie Vaquer and then leave Raquel Rodriguez to challenge Jordynne Grace for the title at Mania. I think that would be really cool if WWE were to do something like that, to have both, top female women's members of the Judgment Day hold like the world titles. I think that would be great. I don't think that WWE would be willing to pull the trigger on that. If they didn't have Raquel Rodriguez beat Stephanie Vaquer for the title, I don't think that they'll have Raquel Rodriguez win. I mean, I guess maybe at Mania she could. I don't know. This whole women's title scene on SmackDown specifically is really throwing me for a loop. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what they're doing. We'll see if they do, I guess. Randy Orton qualified on the men's side. He had a match against Solo Sikoa and Alistair Black. So, yeah, of course he was going to qualify against those two guys. We'll probably also get an LA Knight qualifying for the chamber. Like I said, we'll probably get Jacob Fatu. I don't know. It's 6 people. The whole fact that they have this triple threat match for a qualifier between Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn. I feel like you could have thrown all 3 guys in the chamber. No one would have batted an eye, but instead we're having them face each other to even qualify. Trick Williams will probably also be at the chamber. A couple of guys from Monday Night Raw, maybe Finn Balor. I don't know. Maybe Gunther. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with the chamber matches, honestly. Again, on the men's side, I am dead set. We know Roman Reigns is facing CM Punk at WrestleMania. We know that Roman Reigns challenged CM Punk after winning the Royal Rumble. On the SmackDown side, I'm dead set that we're going to get a triple threat match between Cody Rhodes, Jacob Fatu, and Drew McIntyre. So, I don't know how we get there. I've told you guys how I think we're going to get there. But anyway, Randy Orton qualified because, yeah, he was facing Solo Sikoa and Alistair Black. Of course, he was going to win that match. For some reason, Trick Williams was out there for this match, by the way, which was really weird to me. So Trick Williams also ran into Sami Zayn and Rey Fenix in the back, basically calling Sami Zayn a loser. He was like, you're the guy that makes it to the playoffs and never wins. You're Charles Barkley on Michael Jordan. He's not wrong that is who Sami Zayn is. I do think that we're getting into Sami Zayn finishing his story. I think that Sami Zayn becomes undisputed champion at Saudi Mania. Fine. Let's give him a moment in front of this crowd that absolutely loves him, this crowd that is his home crowd away from home, essentially. I don't hate Sami Zayn getting that at any point. I long-term storytelling by Triple H, fine, we'll see. It can get a little bit clunky when he does things like this, but he's done it before, so I don't hate this as a storyline. I don't hate basically a year build for Sami Zayn to win that title. I'm here for it. But again, I don't know why Trick Williams was involved in so many of these storylines. I mean, they've definitely strapped the rocket to Trick Williams, right? He's involved with all of these main eventers, all of these established stars, and Rey Fenix. So yeah, I mean, Trick Williams is definitely going places in WWE, and I don't hate it for that. I don't hate him. I don't hate WWE for that, because the dude is super talented. The dude absolutely deserves to get a rocket strapped to his back. I'm still waiting for some sort of storyline between him and Carmelo Hayes, but I'm sure we'll get it eventually. Before that triple threat match between Solo, Randy Orton, and Alistair Black, Solo Sikoa was looking for his MFT. So Tonga had a match against Shinsuke Nakamura earlier that night. He won that match. We saw them have a confrontation for a few weeks now, Tonga and Shinsuke Nakamura. So they had a one-on-one match. Tonga won that match. Tonga looked great, by the way. I'm ready for him to be IC champion, or I guess US champion because he's on SmackDown. I'm ready for him to be US champion 100%. But as Solo Sikoa was getting ready to go into the ring for his match, they stopped him to interview him in the back. And he's like, I don't care about your interview, basically, is what he said. He's like, where are my MFTs? Where's my family? They better be out there waiting for me. And they weren't. We did get the flash of the Wyatt 6 logo come up, right? So I'm pretty sure that the MFTs had kidnapped, or I'm pretty sure that the Wyatt 6 have kidnapped the MFTs at this point. And that's how we're going to get Howdy versus Solo, right? Like family for Lantern or whatever. I like it. I like it. I really do. In a very weird way. We're definitely going to get Solo versus Uncle Howdy. I like the idea of the Wyatt 6 just being darker and more malicious and more dangerous, and having them basically kidnap the MFTs. I don't have much more to say than that. I like it, and I can't wait to see that match. Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, they defeated Giulia and Kiana James for the tag team titles, right? So they retain their tag team titles. Next week, apparently, Rio is facing Lash Legend and Nia Jax. I hope that Lash and Nia win. I really do. You guys know what I want out of this women's tag team scene. You guys know what I've been asking for weeks and weeks and weeks. I do feel like maybe we'll get it at WrestleMania at this point. Like, the build is still happening. I thought that after the Royal Rumble, some of these women superstars would go off to do their own thing, to challenge to some major titles. But we have Liv Morgan as the Royal Rumble winner. She's challenging probably Stephanie Vaquer. We're going to get somebody from the SmackDown roster, maybe a Jordynne Grace, maybe a Tiffany Stratton, maybe even a Raquel Rodriguez, maybe a Bianca Belair challenge Jade Cargill. So that does leave the field open for all of these women to go and have this women's TLC match at WrestleMania. And if that match happens at Mania, it will absolutely steal the show. I hope that WWE does the right thing. I hope they don't drop the ball here, because that match, whether it be 6, 7, 8 different tag teams as a part of that match, you have the numbers, you have the talent. It would be the absolute best match of WrestleMania. It would 100% steal the show. So I hope WWE doesn't drop the ball there. I want to get into the Oba Femi and Kit Wilson stuff in a sec, but we did have Carmello Hayes versus The Miz tonight. The Miz says that he spoke to Nick Aldis and he's put a stop. He's put a stop to the U.S. title open challenge. Ilya Dragunov was concerned because I guess he wants to be U.S. champion again. But so then we had a non-title match between The Miz and Carmello Hayes. Carmello Hayes won that match. I hope that this means whatever half-assed feud that Carmello Hayes and The Miz had, I hope that that's over. But yeah, Carmello Hayes won. I don't know if that actually means that the U.S. title open challenge is done for. Maybe it's run its course. I have been liking the U.S. title open challenge, but I do feel like Carmello Hayes has kind of ran out of opponents at this point, right? Like everyone who's wanted to challenge other than Tonga has challenged for this title, and I wouldn't honestly hate it if they put a stop to the U.S. title open challenge, because yeah, it's kind of run its course. Unless they're going to bring up more people from NXT, totally okay with that. Unless you're going to put the title on someone like Johnny Gargano, who has nothing going on now. Unless you're going to put the title on someone new and, kind of keep the excitement going. But if you're just going to ping pong it back and forth between Carmello Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, let's just let's cut it off here. Like, right, let's cut it out at this point and build some actual stories with the US title. But honestly, like I said, if we're gonna build new stars and put it on new people, put it on young people, put it on people that are coming up from NXT, then let's keep it going. But otherwise, yeah, I'm okay with this being over. All right. So, like I mentioned, Oba Femi made his, I guess it wasn't a debut. I guess he's not officially a SmackDown superstar. I do hope that the fact that he appeared tonight and had a match tonight, however, of an impromptu last minute match it was, I hope that this means that Oba Femi is joining the SmackDown roster. SmackDown in particular is hungry for main eventers. It's hungry for people that can absolutely, challenge for the Undisputed Championship and be a viable candidate for it. Outside of the three main eventers now, plus maybe Sami Zayn, I don't think Damian Priest is a viable candidate for that title. Like, outside really of those four, there isn't an actual challenger that you could see and be like, oh no, this guy can definitely win the Undisputed Championship. So if we're injecting Oba Femi into that, whether it be, after WrestleMania, fine, right? Like, let's just keep feeding him people at this point, and maybe that's the story for next year's WrestleMania. Don't hate that at all. Or even further down the line after WrestleMania. It doesn't have to be next year's WrestleMania, but just after this WrestleMania, I don't hate that at all. Like, Jacob Fatu versus Oba Femi? Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. But that was great. I liked that part of it. The part that I didn't like was, and I guess they've been doing this for a while with Kit Wilson's character, but I'm going to keep saying it, right? The fact that this guy calls himself a feminist, he calls out toxic masculinity, and he's supposed to be the guy that everyone makes fun of, right? Like, he's supposed to be the guy that the crowd turns against because, haha, look at this idiot calling himself all of these woke terms. And that just speaks volumes to where WWE is, right? Like, AEW this week went viral because during that match between Brody King and MJF, everyone in the crowd was screaming, fuck Ice, fuck Ice. They didn't censor it. They let it be loud on TV, right? They let the wrestlers have this moment where they acknowledged what the crowd was saying, right? Brody King wears all of those abolish ICE t-shirts. He's raised all this money for anti-ICE organization. Being the dirty leftist that I am, I absolutely love this. I absolutely love that AEW, at least, they're still dirty billionaires, but they let the wrestlers speak out for causes that they believe in. And when moments like this happen in the crowd, they let it happen, and it's getting a lot of eyeballs for it, and good for them and good for the wrestlers for being able to speak out for what they believe, right? But this week we had Ava leave WWE. Then she jumped on Twitter and said, now that I can actually say something, fuck ICE, abolish ICE, all of that, right? You had that. Now we have this character who is basically what WWE considers a liberal, what WWE considers, right, a weak liberal man. So we're all supposed to boo him. He got destroyed by Oba Femi because he's look at this weak woke liberal that he's a heel because look at all of these stupid things he believes, right? Like, it speaks volumes to what WWE stands for as an organization. It really, I don't know, it gives me a bad taste in my mouth. It's just, it sucks. It sucks as a wrestling fan because it goes against everything that I stand for, right? Like, all of these things that WWE are pushing, because they are pushing an agenda. That is absolutely what they're doing here. It sucks that this is the kind of stuff that they're still spewing out there. I'm not surprised considering who the McMahons are. I'm not surprised considering who owns TKO. I'm not surprised considering who Triple H is, but I don't know. It's my own fault for expecting better, I guess. But all of this to say that this only makes me want to watch AEW more. I've never been against AEW. It's not as easily accessible as WWE, right? Like, I don't have HBO, so I can't watch AEW. I don't have cable, so I don't have, what is it, TNT and what other network they're on, right? Like, I don't have their network, so I can't really watch it. I have Netflix, so I can watch WWE. I have a VPN, so I can watch all of WWE. But all of this just makes me really want to watch AEW because, yeah, people should be able to stand up for what they believe in, and people should be able to, you know, talk about real issues and not, instead be fed this like weak man persona because he believes things that WWE don't believe in. But I do love that Oba Femi made an appearance tonight. I do love that Oba Femi destroyed Kit Wilson. He absolutely should have destroyed Kit Wilson. I do love that maybe he's joining the SmackDown roster, but I've said what I've said at this point. You get what I meant, and that whole thing was just a little weird for me. Now, Kit Wilson then confronted Matt Cardona after this whole thing. I do want to get into this. And Apollo Crews was in the back. We haven't seen Apollo Crews on TV in so long. Every time I make a video about like breaking down every person on the roster, like most recently, I had the video of like every person's chances of winning the Royal Rumble, and I went down the roster, and Apollo Crews was on the SmackDown roster, and I forget that he is still here because he hasn't been on TV for so long. This guy suffers injuries like crazy. I think he's been nursing an injury for like over a year at this point. So if this means that he's ready to come back, if this means that he's ready to be on TV, hell yeah. Let's have Apollo Crews on TV. Let's have him in the ring. I love this. The fact that he was on TV tonight with Matt Cardona makes me hopeful that he's back because, yeah, he seems like a good dude. And WWE absolutely needs a deeper roster, just in general, right? But especially in the mid card. So let's put Apollo Crews in there. I don't hate that. I love seeing him back. Listen, when any wrestler gets better from an injury and comes back, that's a great moment. So there you have it, folks. That's everything that happened tonight on Friday Night Smackdown. I forgot to mention Johnny Gargano is sad now because he lost Axiom's mask, I guess. I don't know where they're going with this. It is clear that because Tommaso Ciampa left, they don't know what to do with Johnny Gargano. We had Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns. They're back too, by the way. We had Fraxium and the Motor City Machine Guns tonight, kind of just walking and talking backstage. And then Candice LeRae's like, look at Johnny. Look at what you did to Johnny, Axiom, now that you lost your mask. He was just like sad laying there. I don't know. It kind of feels like maybe they're pushing a babyface turn for Johnny Gargano. I don't hate that either. WWE just doesn't know what to do with him at this point, and that is clear. But I hope that they treat him well, at least for the short time that he's there. I do think that once his contract's over, he will be leaving WWE. I do think he will be doing the same thing Tommaso Ciampa did and going to AEW. And good on him, man. Wrestlers should be able to leave and go work elsewhere if that's what they want. Everyone should be able to do that, right? The fact that there is more than one legit wrestling organization that can pay these guys what they're worth is great. And who's going to hate on that? If you hate on that, then you're a piece of trash. Anyway, though, since you made it this far, make sure to drop a like, make sure to comment, make sure to check out my other videos. Let me know if there's anything I missed from tonight's show. Let me know where you think they're going with this women's title scene. I don't know if Jordynne Grace is going to be Jade Cargill next week. I don't know where they're going. I don't think at this point Bianca Belair is going to return in time to face Jade at WrestleMania. So let me know in the comments where you think they're going with that. Drop a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Check out my other videos. I'm sure you'll like one of them. One of them will be here. It'll probably be... Did you guys know that Triple H likes black hoodies? Yeah, that video is all about that. It's going to be here or here or here or here or here. It's going to be somewhere. Click on it. You'll like it. Anyway, though, as always, until next time, have a nice day.